What's going on, peoples? What's going on?
What up? What up?
You
What up?
know what time it is. I am Dr. Theo. This is my guy, Hollis Edwards, and we are back in the building.
Back in the building, baby.
So we got a great show lined up. It seemed like it's been forever since we seen y'all, even though it was a couple of weeks ago. We had our homeboy on from Michigan City, David Greer. He came through. He did his thing. And tonight's show is going to be just as good, taking it to the next level.
Right.
But before we get any further, maybe there's some new people to our podcast and you don't know quite who we are. So Hollis, why don't you school the people on exactly who we are?
We call next in the building.
That's right. We Call Next is in the building. As always, we got a great show lined up.
That's right.
I'm going to turn it back over to Hollis. He is super great on the administrative side of things, housekeeping side of things. So he's going to walk us through the agenda, and then he's going to get the show started for us this evening.
That's what's up. I hope y'all like our theme music and our trailers, y'all, and our promos. We got a tremendous staff, which is the one person that y'all see right there on the camera, my partner. He gets it done, y'all. I want to start off, though, shout out my mom's, y'all. My mom's birthday, she would have been 79 last week, so I just want to give her much shout out, man. And but as far as housekeeping in our agenda, so one thing that we in Theo like to stress, the show isn't about the host. The show is about you all. The show is about the guests. And this is not like what you did this Sunday where when the pastor was trying to get you to get involved and you were just sitting there watching. This is participatory. We want you to be engaged with us. We want you to be involved so you can hit the chat throughout the entire show. And if you're really feeling like that, then you can even get on camera with us as well. But what we want to do is hit you with a little bit of what we're going to accomplish today. And so really quick, you know, we're going to, in a second, we're going to do our, what Theo and I call Around the World, which is basically giving us an opportunity to just share whatever's on our mind, our thoughts, things of that nature. And then also from that point, we're going to bring on our guest. And then our guest, then we're going to give an official introduction to our guests. You know, we like to go in and we want to start throwing those flowers and giving those flowers, and even in the introduction. Then after that, we're going to have our discussion / interview. Then after that, that's going to be the majority of the time on this particular call, on this particular session, I should say. And then after that, you know, Theo will highlight, we're going to look at any chats that we missed, any questions, additional comments, things of that nature. And then we'll end with any other additional questions. And then we'll also tease our next guest on our next show. So that's kind of how we like to get down and how we flow. So, Thea, I miss anything?
Nope, you covered it like you always do.
Yes, I appreciate that, bro. So with that being said, y'all, we're going to get into a brief Around the World. Now, for those of y'all that were hoopers back in the day, if y'all familiar with basketball, a lot of references that Theo and I do is basketball related because we're former basketball players, and Theo actually still plays at times. But the point of this is Around the World was a game that we played, and the more you hit, the longer you got to stay on and you got to win by hitting the shots at the different spots. So what Theo and I do is in Around the World, we have different topics from anywhere and everywhere. And so in this particular case, the thing that's hot on most basketball players or basketball people that watch basketball is the playoffs. And so right now, the playoffs, you know, I will say numbers show that the numbers of viewership has went down since the LA Lakers and Bron left the playoffs. Just putting that out. Viewership went down 38%, except for the haters. You know, y'all probably tune in even more. But with that being said, Thee, what's your thoughts right now on the playoffs, man, and what you seeing?
I've actually been surprisingly enjoying the playoffs. Like Hollis said, I'm a big LeBron fan, big Lakers fan. So once they lost, I was kind of down for a bit, and I was like, I'm not even gonna watch the rest of the games. But it's been real cool. My wife and I, we were in New York all last week. My wife is from New York, and so my father-in-law, he's a big Knicks fan. So I really enjoyed just seeing him get excited for the New York Knicks, who've been starving for some wins.
Yeah, no
And
question.
I'm just excited the fact that it's going to be a new young team, so whether it's going to be OKC, Minnesota, New York, or our hometown Pacers.
Let's go.
At this point, whoever wins, I'm down with it. It's a brand new team. And so I think it's going to be exciting playoffs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I found myself a little bit jumping on the Pacers bandwagon because, like you said, it's our home state. And it's not like this happens often. I've actually even contemplated if somehow they are able to beat the Knicks, what they have a very good chance because they have a very good team. I may try to get down to Indy to check it out. I may crash with the brother that's on here now, Von McNeil, and crash on his couch.
Well, if you did that, we made it be down there together, then you never know.
But it's exciting, as exciting as it can be without Bron and them in it. But it's exciting. The aggressiveness. I love how the referees are allowing them to be a little bit more physical. The physicality has risen, the hand checking has risen, and I think they need to stay like that. It shouldn't just be at the playoff time because some of these new stars get to the free throw line. That's the majority of their points, and I know for me, I get tired of seeing that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I will say I was watching the game today though, and only thing I kept thinking it was Rob Pelinka. Why did you not pay Caruso?
Thank you. We need to have a talk with Rob. Hey, y'all, as we getting bigger, as you all are helping this show get big, holla at y'all boy Rob. We need to get him on. We need to get Rob Pelinka on because I don't understand why he didn't keep Mark Williams because Rudy Gobert looked like the second coming of Shaq against the Lakers because we had no big. None.
Exactly.
None. So, but with that being said, y'all, one of the things that's going to be really cool about our guest is that I know she didn't have much of an athletic career per se. I know she was manager at different times and things, comes from an athletic family. But, part of her life story is about, you miss all 100% of the shots you don't take, which is one of my favorite sayings. And I think as you all get to know our guests, I think you will see that reoccurring theme pretty consistently, and hopefully it'll motivate you to take a chance, take those shots, and what do you have to lose? Life is but a vapor. So what do we have to lose? So we could bring her on if you want.
Yes. So we normally talk a little bit longer, but we knew that you all want to chop it up more with our guests. We're gonna bring her on, then Hollis is gonna do the official introduction. But we like to bring our guests on before that. That way we can give her flowers as she's hearing the introduction. Because sometimes, people don't always get the flowers they deserve. And so without further ado, if you're from Michigan City, you knew her as Stephanie Sanders. She's now Stephanie Bibbs. She's doing great things. So we're going to hear from her. So we're going to bring her on right now. So coming to the stage. And so we want to encourage you all, if you're viewing on my personal page or Hollis page, but if you want to comment, just head over to the We Call Next page, drop some comments. We got some questions for Stephanie, but we want you all, like Hollis says, it's not about us. We want to be to hear from you all. And so we want to give you the opportunity to really ask your questions. And so drop those in the chat and we're going to make it happen.
Absolutely. A lot of y'all been showing me some love off camera saying, Hollis, you look young and all that. Well, y'all need to tell the writing. You need to tell the words that I be reading that, Hollis is young because of I can put on these reading glasses real quick here. So
I have some too.
y'all gotta tell the writing. My scriptures all of a sudden when I'm reading my word seem like it's getting smaller. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, dude, I'm in the exact same boat, and it's one of the most humbling things ever.
Ooh,
You know,
man. It's humbling.
having that happen, but it's a blessing that we're around long enough to see it happen, and so we're gonna keep it moving.
Absolutely, that's what's up. And so, without any further ado, y'all, we're gonna give her a proper introduction. So, born to Stephen and Connie Sanders, Stephanie is a Michigan City native who graduated with honors from Elston High School, which, by the way, she may or may not been able to get her honors at Elston by cheating off of my paper in my
Here we go.
in Mr. Monterano's business law class. Business law. We had business law, and I'm thinking you were probably peeking over my shoulder. But anyway,
last name Edwards, last name Sanders. We were not sitting by each other for me to cheat. Okay, get that
I'm
straight.
just saying, y'all. Y'all know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And so, but she went on. She went on to Purdue University, where she majored in law and society. She has a diverse work background as she has traveled from Indiana to Washington, D.C. to Georgia to Texas before returning to her Hoosier home state where she currently resides. Now, earlier I said Stephanie is a big believer in this, that she is not only a hard worker, but once again, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And so she's taken a lot of shots, and this is where it's really going to get amazing when y'all hear her background. So she took a shot and landed in the legal field. 20-year litigator. She has prior work experience as a deputy prosecutor in the homicide and sex crimes divisions, where she had many jury trials. She also went into solo practice briefly before returning to the public sector. After many years of trial work, she took another shot, and y'all won't believe this, but the sister that's on this podcast, she ran for judge. And she almost knocked it out, just shy of a victory. But she kept her faith. She didn't get discouraged at all. She kept her faith, and she continued to help people with her expertise. She tried again in 2023. And this time, y'all, now this is going to get, let me make sure I got my glasses cleaned up. This time, y'all, she was a finalist for the Indiana Court of Appeals. Y'all just let that land for a minute. That's big time. Michigan City's own. And then that's the state's second highest court. Now, although she wasn't selected, she remains encouraged by her journey, as her selection, just getting there, was historic. And so she's right on the cusp. And if that's what God has for her, it'll happen. Today, she is the deputy director of litigation for one of the agencies of Indiana Supreme Court. Yeah, y'all, Indiana Supreme Court.
Big time.
And she has won many awards, such as Businesswoman of the Year,
Booyah,
Lawyer of the Year.
Ta-da.
I don't even know if y'all ready for all her. And then, you know, and she will be acknowledged in the upcoming Leadership in the Law Award ceremony as a distinguished barrister. Help me out.
Yes.
Okay. And then on the personal side, so y'all see all the shots in essence that she's taking, right? From Elston High School to Purdue, always giving back, being consistent, reaching for goals, reaching for historic goals, and making a lot of those goals, making a lot of those shots. And on her personal life, she's a devoted wife to her amazing husband, Ty, loving daughter, sister, aunt, and most importantly, she puts a disciple of Christ. She loves the word and sharing with others the call of duty. I love how she puts that, which is that the whole duty of man is to fear God and obey his commandments. Ecclesiastes 12.
Preach that word.
So without any further ado, y'all, we're bringing forth an amazing person, an amazing background. Much love, Stephanie Bibbs. Thank you for joining us.
I am glad to be here. Thank you for having me. To my cousin, to my baby bro, Theo.
Yes.
I don't know if you're going to call me the nickname on this one, or we're going to keep it,
I'm going to tell the story and call you nickname now.
But very glad to be here. Thank you for having me. What's up, Michigan City? And we call next. I love that. Y'all are doing the thing. And hey, I'm ready to get started.
All right. All right. I love it. I love it. So we're
So
gonna
so Stephanie, since you did bring up the nickname, I think it'd be apropos because people often wonder how we select our guests, who we choose, different things, and a lot of it is based upon relationship. So I know you and Hollis are relatives, so y'all could talk about that. But in terms of you and uh, I first met you through my sister. You and my sister, your besties. So
Yes.
all the way back to the Mullen days and stuff like that. But at
Not
Elston,
Mullen. Wow.
I mean, before
Elston,
that, we were besties at 2 years old.
Wow.
We've
I
been
mean, as far as I know, it was the Mullen day. I'm talking about as far as you and
right.
I. Yeah, y'all go way back. You know,
Yes.
Man,
just
they
the type
old.
of
Do they even
friendships
have
that.
Mullen anymore? Is there even such a
Here we
thing as
go.
Mullen?
No, they had changed it to Lake Hills, but not. Yeah, I think it's Lake Hills, but the Mullen, the building's still there, but the school isn't. But then at Elston, and I'm trying to figure out how we got in the same class. Because was it a science class?
I think so. I don't remember the
Yeah, I
class.
think we were in biology class or something like that. And the teacher was talking about this term called iosis. And so she and I just start calling each other iosis, just joking around.
Yes.
And it's lasted to this day, you know, her birthday or whatever. If I shout her out, hey, what's going on, iosis? Or I'm little iosis, whatever it may be. So,
Yes.
but I just thought that was cool coming from a city where you got these lifelong relationships.
Yes.
And so, I know you and my sister were at Purdue together, roommates for a little while. And so just wanted to share that story to give background of her and I. But I know, Hollis, you have your own personal story
Yeah.
as far as the family tree. So you can break that down to us.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And we want to let y'all know as well, if you see the diversity that on this show. So we're having people that are in the entertainment field. We're having people, you know, that like Stephanie, that are superstar in the legal field. You know, we're gonna have people that have backgrounds in sports, ministry, you know, or combinations of all those things. So our whole point is just to give flowers. That's something that my mom personally taught me, is to give flowers. She actually used to tell me to give her flowers while she was here, but that's another
Right.
story. But, you know, to give people flowers, y'all. Oftentimes in life, we go through a lot. Sometimes some of us accomplish a lot, and it's just nice to be acknowledged. And so that's one of the things that Theo and I are leveraging our platform for. So me and Steph, obviously being family, you know, I still remember. So I have pictures of me and Steph together when she came to my McDonald's party when I was like 5 or 6 years old. But here's the funny thing. So because our family isn't always like, you know, everybody doesn't be around everybody.
Right.
So when Stephanie and I were in junior high, we had Mr. Carver class. And I'm like, you my cousin. She's like,
Yeah.
I ain't your cousin. What you mean? I'm like, you're my cousin. And so I think I brought in the pictures of something to show her. And then she went home and asked, this dude Hollis, you know, said he my cousin. So, you know, because she could remember, because it had been years since we had seen each other. And then just from there on, obviously we always just show love for one another and been happy with each other's success. And in particular, me being happy with hers. What's up, cuz? Her dad, I used to always sit after every game. I would go over there and sit with my big cousin. We would chop it up, and he'd tell me how I should have shot more, or
he would basically have to condone. He would have to console Hollis. You know, like I know you went 0 for 10, but it's gonna be all right next time. Keep shooting those shots.
No, what he was probably telling me was, you need to get a ball to killer. You need to pass the ball to kill more. Quit shooting. That's probably what he was telling me.
Yeah, back then that was the answer to every question. Get a ball to kill it. You know,
get a ball to kill. But yeah, and then like I said, y'all, just Stephanie's always been just an amazing person, quality person. And so Steph, we'll just jump right in. Just, you know, from the beginning, I'm very curious on, as we shared your background a little bit and your intro, what would you say was your defining moment? Was there any defining moments that potentially changed the course of your life, your career, any moments that stand out?
Well, for those of you who from Michigan City, you might remember my grandmother, Mamie L. Sanders, Reverend Mamie L. Sanders, who was a pillar of the community, Reverend at Bethel AME Church. And for those of you who are familiar, she was murdered late 80s. And that shook my world. It shook our whole family's world. And so I would have to definitely say that that was a defining moment. I've always known, I would say since the 6th grade, that I wanted to be a lawyer, even a judge at that time.
Mm.
I had no idea that that experience of losing my grandmother, especially in that way, would kind of shape my trajectory. I wanted to stay away from criminal law. I never saw myself going into criminal law at all. But as God would have it, he brought it full circle. I was a senior in high school. I was in a business law class, and there we had a guest speaker. It was toward the end of the school year, and that guest speaker was none other than the prosecutor who prosecuted the man that murdered my grandmother.
Mm.
And when he talked about that case, he didn't know I was sitting in the room. He didn't know he had no idea that the case that he chose to talk to this senior high school class about was my grandmother's. And so when I walked up to him after the class, I said, "Hey, that was my grandmother. You could have bought him for a quarter and got change back," because he had no idea. And just that was a defining moment. Even then, I'm like, I don't want to do criminal law. I'll probably do, be a transactional attorney or something. And I was led into criminal law. I was actually a homicide prosecutor for a while. And that was there was a ministry. I was able to relate to the families who had lost loved ones, watching my parents come from court, watching how it impacted them, allowed me to explain the court process to people in a way that would at least try to alleviate some of their concerns, try to get ahead of some of their questions, because I lived it. And so I thought that made me a little bit more effective in my job, but I would say that definitely was a defining moment.
That's awesome. That really impacted, my mom. I remember my mom telling me about it, and when it happened, and feel like it was in the wintertime. Is that correct? Am I remembering?
Yeah, it was November. It was actually 7 days. I had celebrated a birthday, and exactly
Yeah.
7 days later, it happened.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Stephanie, you brought up that story, because I don't remember a whole lot of stuff from elementary, but I do remember, if I'm not mistaken, being on the bus coming home. Yeah, and so we were on the bus together. So I remember, we were in Canada. Anything about Canada, because your grandmother lived in Canada on Union Street, but on the other side of Union Street. My grandmother was on the other side, but just down the street in Union Street. And so that's one of the joys and sorrows of being from a small city. The joy is the tight-knit community, but of course the sorrows, like the Bible says, when one rejoices, we all rejoice, but one hurts, we all hurt.
Yes.
And so I remember that vividly, just coming home on the bus. And so
Yes, yeah. And I remember the love from the community, the outpouring from the community. Our parents did a great job at shielding us from certain things and not allowing our eyes to see certain things and ears to hear certain things. So for my parents who were strong enough during that time, and what had to be very hard time period. Sorry, this light just went down. What had to be a very difficult time for them, just being pillars of strength, for my brother and my sister and I.
Absolutely. And shout out to your parents too, by the way, just always tremendous people. I used to love, like I mentioned, seeing, Big Steve come around and seeing your moms, and just really sweet people and loving people. So shout out.
Shout out to Mom and Dad. Thank you for raising me up in the fear and the admonition of the Lord. And I'm just grateful for you. I couldn't have asked for better parents here on earth.
Absolutely. I'm still mad at my cousin Steve for not taking me to the Bulls game. But we'll talk about that offline.
Right.
But okay, so, and thank you, Steph, for sharing that, because that obviously would be a tremendous defining moment. And so what are some of the obstacles or hurdles that you may have experienced as, a young, Black attorney? Are there anything specific that you saw or anything that you may have experienced that you wouldn't mind sharing that you had to overcome?
Great question.
Sure. I had to overcome just my own insecurities, things that I thought I wasn't good enough. I didn't have any immediate people that I knew that had done this before. I was always an admirer of people that, I saw doing it, but to know someone personally that I could pick up the phone and say, hey, how did you do this? How did you fill out this application? How did you pass this LSAT test? How did you prepare for these things? So that was a challenge. And then just, just kind of getting over my own fears. I was afraid at that time to take certain shots. You mentioned, one of the quotes, I think it Michael Jordan who said it, you miss 100% of the shots you take. And so I'm glad I took it in spite of. I'm glad I still shot the ball when I was scared, when I didn't know what was going on, when I couldn't see. I'm glad that I did. And so I would say probably just not having an immediate circle of people that had done it, in front of me that I could reach out and touch and ask was one of the challenges.
Absolutely. And it's amazing because you never know who you're impacting. So by you, Stephanie, blazing a trail that you did, because let's face it, they're coming from Michigan City. The numbers are very small as far as, Black attorneys, but then secondarily Black female attorneys. And so kudos to you because you're, blazing those trails and you never know who's watching. You never know, watching you do your thing. I was always able to share with my daughter, like, this is something you could do, right? And then, we have a cousin Delray's daughter doing her thing, right?
Yes.
And so you just never know how you may be impacting people indirectly. And so, and with that being said, what would you say? We talked about the obstacles a little bit, but what are some of your main accomplishments that you're probably most proud of? And, being a humble person like you are, I don't know, it probably may be a little uncomfortable for you as far as us giving you your flowers and the kudos at the intro. But if you could, what are 2 or 3 of your accomplishments that you like? Yeah, God did that thing. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm used to advocating for everybody else.
Right.
Well, on a personal side, I am married to the love of my life. God definitely brought the right person into my life at the right time. Shout out to my husband, Ty Bibbs.
That's awesome.
The man that sees me when I feel invisible. He's that guy. He's the one who is a keeper. And so I'm grateful for that. I'd say that's an accomplishment in a world where divorce is celebrated, where, singlehood, staying strong, independent, celebrated.
Right.
I'm grateful that, God brought somebody into my life who was right for me.
There you go.
And so that I would say that's an accomplishment.
Major. One of the most important accomplishments.
Yes. We just celebrated 5 years. And so I'm grateful for that. 5 years of marriage. Yes. Also, running, putting myself out there for the Court of Appeals. It's the state's second highest court. And that's no small feat. I mean, the vetting process is very rigorous. You put yourself out there. You fill out an application, which in and of itself, if you're not determined to see the other side of it, you quit doing the application. It takes about, if you're going to do a good one, about a month just to get the application done. And so going through that process, interviewing with the commission who forwards 3 names to the governors, I was blessed enough to be one of the 3 2 years ago.
Wow.
And that was huge. It was huge. I was grateful to be in the room, got to meet the governor and interview with him. And then he made the final selection, which wasn't me, but, great people applied and there were a lot of great applicants. So, trust in the process, but that was a major accomplishment. If successful, I would have been the first Black woman on the Court of Appeals. And so there's never been a Black woman on that court. But so going through that process was a big deal. And so if that's something that is for me in the future, if that's what God has for me, it'll happen. If not, he's got another door. But I would say that was an accomplishment going through that, having those experiences, and then who I became on that journey purged a lot of things out of me that I didn't know were there. And so putting my best foot forward. And so sometimes there's a goal in front of us that we think is that we think that's the thing. We think that's the end game, but it's who you become in the process.
Right. Okay.
That is the win. And so I'm grateful for the win of who I became, who I was able to look back and say, you know what? I have done some things. I have graduated from some things. I've learned a whole lot and I'm ready, for the next chapter. So I would definitely say that's an accomplishment.
That's super dope.
So since you mentioned the historic significance if you would have been elected, do you think, I mean, it's a challenging field as it is, you know, whether you're talking about becoming a lawyer, becoming a doctor, uh, anything postgraduate, you know, when you're getting your master's, PhDs, things of that nature. But would you say, in your experience, being a woman and being a Black woman, do you think it was doubly hard, triply hard? Did you ever face any obstacles that were specific to your gender, your race?
Did Dr. Theo just pick up some words? Doubly.
Yeah, you
Go
know,
ahead.
being a wordsmith, you know, when you are about words, you know, I do what I do, doubly, triply.
Hey, you gotta respect it. He's a doctor, so I gotta respect it.
You know, so as someone in this field with, you know, I've been an attorney for 20 years, and it does not come without challenges. It does not come without experiencing, you know, microaggressions just in the field in general. I walked into courtrooms where people thought I was the paralegal, or, you know, somebody's secretary or something like that.
Wow.
But I would say, and I don't know that it's specific, you know, to my race or gender, but I would say you learn and you hear certain things that are, there are words that are masked in something else. They're masked as compliments, but it's sort of like a, wait your turn. It's not your turn yet.
Right.
Or, oh, you're young. Your turn will come. You've got plenty of time, when there were people who were advancing who were way younger than me. And so you hear, you have like this trained ear to hear when it's something that is masked as, you know, oh, you've got plenty of time. Don't worry, your time will come. But it's really, it's not you. You know, it's not you. And so my dad talking about he was my debate opponent. that he was and still is.
But you probably didn't call it debates back then. It was argument.
It was an argument that I
like
lost every time because he pulled rank as dad. So
I feel like I whoop cousin Steve in some chess or something at some point.
I think you probably did, and I need to learn how to. Yes. But you learn to hear things, you hear things differently, especially as a woman, you know, as a person of color. You hear things, you know, and people often don't know that your ear is trained to hear that, you know, is what I would call a microaggression. And so, yes, it did come with some of those challenges that were specific to me.
Absolutely. I've experienced that myself in corporate America.
I was going to ask you that, Hollis.
Yeah, just being in corporate America, my most recent role, I was leading a global team, and I was leading for diversity, equity, inclusion for a Fortune 150 company. And so oftentimes, you know, there would be other opportunities that I may put my hat in the ring for, and I would get, you know, as you mentioned, it would be the compliment of, you're so great at what you do, you know, why leave that?
Yes.
You know, I'm like, because I want to.
Right.
Because of my career trajectory. And so, you know, I've had a lot of those things. Oftentimes, I personally have faced, not to shine a light on me, but I'm just agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I've faced where even now, as I'm looking at different roles and opportunities, oftentimes I have more background, credential, education than those that are interviewing me, and oftentimes there's a level of intimidation. That's not based. I would like to think that's not based on the color of my skin or anything like that, but it's been difficult. I've often heard overqualified a lot, and that's, you know, it can be disheartening. But I also understand that, like you mentioned earlier, that I learn a lot when I put myself in those situations and going through the processes, and you learn more about yourself, even whether it's you achieved a certain goal or you put yourself in a position to achieve it. You learn so much, and I gain that knowledge, and all things work together for the good. So
100%. Yeah. And sometimes the lesson is just obedience, you know, even if the outcome is not what we hope, it's were you obedient to the call? And I would say that was one of the biggest lessons I took away from, you know, this last experience of applying, was being obedient to what I was told to do, and I did it. And I'm grateful, you know, for that journey. I met a lot of great people along the way, learned a lot of great lessons.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
What we want to do, ladies and gentlemen who are out in the chat, if you're viewing us online, Hollis is asking great questions. I've had some follow-up questions, but we want to give you an opportunity. So if you're in the chat, if you have a specific question for our guest, please feel free to ask. Like I said, we're proud of her. I think it just warms our heart, even though she calls me the little brother, the same way Hollis. I mean, it's interesting. I become everyone's little brother because Hollis refers to me as his little brother too. But I always feel like the little, I'm the younger big brother. That's how I see it, you know, protecting you both, you know, and looking out for you both, but also proud of both of you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so if you're in the chat and you want to either shout Stephanie out,
yes,
and Hollis does have some shout outs.
Yes,
we want to make sure we get to those shout outs.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So either shout out or you have a question. Matter of fact, Hollis, before we get too far to any questions,
yes,
do you want to
read
that shout out? Tell us who it's from and just read that shout out, because what we're all about is giving flowers.
Absolutely.
So if you want to give Stephanie some flowers, feel free to do so.
Absolutely. Thank you, Thee. And, you know, Stephanie's career, it's been so interesting and fascinating. I think we just dug right into that. But we thank you, Theo, for that pause so that we can give her some more flowers. So from Stephanie's husband, Ty, the gentleman she was just talking about, 5 years of marriage, acting like she all in love and stuff on the podcast. Come out, this the love of my life. God has brought my one. I know y'all heard all that. I hope you watching. He said that he's returning the favor. He says, Steph, my lovely wife, is an exceptional, talented attorney professionally. She is an extraordinarily kind and gracious human being to all those that know her personally. He said he's blessed beyond measure to have her in his life. He says Steph has been and continues to be an exemplary representative of the best and brightest of MC. That's what it is. Having recently, as he's mentioned, so he must be all in love too, y'all. He mentioned him celebrating their 5-year wedding anniversary. And check this out, y'all. He said, and he's looking forward to another 50 years.
Booyah.
Yes, lucky husband, Ty Bibbs.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
That's great stuff.
That's great. That is awesome. That is awesome. Awesome. Way to show her some love. And what we got on here. You want me to read them, Thea? You want to hit it?
Yeah, you can hit that.
All right. So from Jason, I don't have a question, but want to show love to Stephanie. She's a special woman doing great things. That's from one of our future guests that's coming on, doing big things in the Indianapolis area on the coaching tip. Jason.
Yes. What's up, Jason? Thank you.
Stephanie, one thing you notice, you know, just how we be kicking, how we've been raised. Hollis and I, the way we do it, we build each other up, and then when we get too high, we'll just knock each other down just a little.
Just a few, yeah.
So your father, I guess he's playing that same role.
He's in that same formula.
Let me put my glasses on for this one. I don't even know.
He said
he want to know who your husband talking about. Which sounds like he's insinuating he can't be talking about you. So what?
I knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. Why did y'all call him? Who told him about the podcast?
Well, actually, I think he's been tuning in, you know, and so here's another one. This is from Doc Serene.
Yeah.
My sister.
So it says she lives out the scripture, 2 Timothy 2:15, study to show yourself approved by God as one approved, a workman who has no need to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
That's what's up, right?
And there. Then your mother's on, so she's giving you. Is that a round of applause?
Yeah.
I don't got my readers on either. So
yes, a round of applause.
You might need to get your readers out.
And just so y'all know, I got the lightest prescription. Just so
Here we
y'all
go.
know, I ain't got one of those real bad prescriptions.
Hey, we gonna make it official, people.
So, you know, just so y'all know, I really don't even need them, really. But I'm
No,
Yeah,
I
really.
when it comes to reading small print, I do need them. I'm not gonna front.
oh man.
We got Devin Hawkins on here saying,
Oh,
"Let's
Devin,
go,
what's
MC."
up, man?
Hey, Devin.
Appreciate you joining us, Devin.
I got to give a shout out to my lovely wife, Nicole.
That's what's up. You want to read that?
She says, "Thank you, Stephanie, for your transparency." And she has a question. My question is, with the current climate in our society and being the only one in many spaces, how do you care for yourself, mind, body, and spirit?
What a great
Just
question.
to give you some
Yes.
context, part of my wife's ministry, she does a lot of resilience training. So she's always checking in with people in terms of how you're taking care of yourself. Are you getting rest? How are you being strengthened and rejuvenated? And so we know, like you said, you're in a taxing field, important job. So how are you caring for yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, the whole nine?
Yeah, that's a great question. It definitely causes you to pause and reflect. For me, I have to put myself on my calendar, just like we calendar everything else. We often fail to write ourselves in. And so I have to put myself on there just like I would any kind of case or an appointment or doing any other thing. I have to make sure that I'm on the calendar for me as well. And it has to be a non-negotiable. Now, I fell off the wagon a little bit with my exercise game and nutrition, but that's coming back. I fell off. I did great for a while, then I fell off. But I hopped back on recently. And so getting back into the gym and doing my fitness and weight training has been awesome. And then I honor the commandments, and the Sabbath is serious for me. And that is a gift to us. It is a time of rest. And so I rest and take that time as an appointed time we have with God. And so getting into the word, that is something that is something that I have been just in the practice of doing here recently. I can't say that I've always done it, but just getting into that space where I can hear from him, get into the word, and get some rest. That's the main thing, is just to kind of, he rested, so we should rest as well.
Yes, absolutely.
We should rest. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Go ahead, Thee. You want to shout that one out?
Well, as you can see on the screen, this is one of our biggest fans, one of our day ones.
Yeah.
Even back in high school, but he's been a proud supporter of We Call Next.
Yes.
So Eric Huberts, who just got off of work, which means, he's been holding it down. He's like, he should be owning Walmart by now.
By now.
Okay.
It should be an office.
Something.
Sam Walton and Eric Huberts.
Eric Huberts.
In Arkansas.
Yes.
So he just wanted to shout
Eric.
Stephanie out, and so showing
Thank
you some love.
Absolutely. And Vaughn is on the shenanigans. See, I knew it. Vaughn is on the shenanigans.
Oh, we definitely helped Hollis, Vaughn. You know he cheated from our Vaughn. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
I can't help it if y'all was straight A students.
Tell the truth, Vaughn. See, I knew it. I knew I was gonna have some help. Thank you. Tell the truth, Vaughn.
Oh man, that's funny. Stephanie used to do some stuff on Facebook that used to be really hilarious. She would be on there. I was just thinking about this when you said this. I don't know if you still do it, but used to put like, you have something about the fries is the devil or something. You have some. Remember, you used to do.
Oh, devil out here. Yes, it's a scam. The scale you get on the weight scale is a whole scam. That number is a lie. Don't believe, unless it's good. Just wait a minute and wait. It be one of those people that on the calculator type in your own number, put your feet on the side of it to say, then post a picture.
Right.
I haven't done that. That's
you just heard about that.
I just heard about it, that it happens. That's not me though. Yes, I heard about it.
Love it.
My sister's asking the question, did you get me from your cell? So I'm actually using my cell phone, which I rarely do, as my camera. So if you tried to contact me, if you texted me,
Tell her to just copy and paste it on here if it's something she want us to.
Yeah, so if you have Nita, if you want to get on here, just
Nita, you
paste it
family,
down.
so you know you could jump on, and anybody that want to jump on camera.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll drop this link also in the chat. If anyone wants to come on briefly to shout Stephanie out, you can do that.
And while you doing that, I want to shout out Saul, another great support of us. Shout out to Saul.
Yes.
He mentioned, I don't know if you got this one, He said, it's a good woman right there from Walker Street.
Oh, yeah, I had put that one on, yeah.
Okay, I didn't catch it. Okay.
And Jason trying to clown us, talking about all y'all got glasses. Hey, this is a recent development. Less than a year ago, I was getting these headaches. And end up, it was because I was becoming, I think what they say, like I'm nearsighted, whatever the one when you can't see near. And so, yeah, it is what it is. And so.
Jason always got
I heard carrots are good for eyesight, or is that true? Carrots,
beta carotene, yep.
Yeah, I thought I read somewhere anyway.
I need to do something because I'm telling y'all having problems with y'all eyes. I just got a problem with the books that I'm reading.
Here we go.
They just keep getting smaller.
It's the book's fault.
So, well, listen.
I'm trying to catch up on all these comments. So we got brother Steve who says, "Preach, daughter."
Yeah.
You got Nicole who's big on the Sabbath. She teaches a lot about that. So yes, the Sabbath delight.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We have Sister Felice Simmons, a woman of strength and perseverance, refusing to take.
Froze up a little bit.
Froze up, B. Am I froze or just B?
I think it's just him. Okay. I think he's frozen right now.
You need to quit getting that, Nicole, y'all need to quit getting that gas station internet and get some real Comcast in y'all life over there. Yeah, he froze it. And so we'll keep it moving though, Steph.
Yeah.
So Jason wrote, well, tell Eric to lower the prices, talking about Walmart.
Right.
So
right.
I have another question for you. And then if anybody, when Theo comes back, everyone, if anybody want to get on camera, we'll be able to let you on. We have about 12 minutes left. So I have this question. What message or mission or story are you the most? Now we really getting ghetto. Getting calls. This ain't the. What message, mission, or story are you most passionate about sharing on our podcast? So what message, mission, or story do you really want to leave people with as they're listening to your background, your story?
Hey, I just want to say for people who are, believers, now is the time to get your houses in order, to get our houses in order collectively, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially. I believe in giving, and make sure, you're helping the less fortunate, giving back as much as we can and pulling the next person forward. It's hard to, get on and talk about ourselves when there's so much going on in the world. And so I just want to give you, Hollis and Theo, your flowers for giving back to the community and connecting us in a way that we wouldn't otherwise have. I don't do much social media these days, but I appreciate you for doing that. But something I'm passionate about is just giving to the poor. Sometimes we question when we see people on the corner asking for money, like, I don't know what they're going to do with it. And that's not for us to decide. That's between that person and God. And so if you're being led to give, go ahead and give. You never know. Some people are a paycheck away from being that same person. Ooh. So we have to, if we are blessed, it's for us to be a blessing to others. Absolutely. And so that is a big message that has been just impressed upon me recently, is to give and give and give while I can.
Absolutely. Are you involved, Steph, with any particular organizations you want to shout out or
Yes. I have been involved with Sisters of Sovereignty, as a local organization who puts on a retreat for young women in the community. I have been with them really since their inception, so probably going on almost 10 years. Wow. They put on a retreat for young women every year, and we go and they feed the young ladies physical food and spiritual food, have guest speakers come in. there are people with different backgrounds and careers that come talk to them and just talk to the young women about life beyond school, life beyond careers, and just preparing them, for the world that's ahead of them. I'm so grateful for that ministry. It's through the ministers at Church Upon the Rock in Indiana. And so they have been doing a phenomenal job with pouring into the life of young women in our community. And I'm grateful to be a part of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's near and dear to my heart. Anybody that would like to be involved, I'm going to do a shameless plug. I have a non-for-profit called Winter Joy. And we usually help about 300 or 400 families in the winter. It's actually based on something that my mom used to do. She used to walk around, ride around her car with Dollar Tree hats and scarves. And whenever she would see kids sitting outside, because up in Indiana, it gets really cold in the winter and not all kids have scarves and hats. And that was a passion of hers.
Yes.
So me and my daughter created a program to continue that legacy. So that's something, Stephanie,
that's wonderful.
To my heart. So if anybody wants to be involved with the Winter Joy Project, you can literally just type in the Winter Joy Project and you'll see me. I need to update that website, but y'all see us on there. So
yes.
Theo is back.
Yeah, I'm back. My apologies. Like I said, my normal camera wasn't working, so I was on my iPhone and that mug died on me. So technology does what it does, but I'm glad that y'all didn't panic. I can still hear y'all holding it down. So now
and there was some
I
bad
don't know
rumors.
if you heard the part about the gas station internet.
There was just a rumor that you had gas station internet, man.
No.
That was a rumor, but
the internet was cool. It was the phone, and it was crazy though because I had got it was plugged in the whole time with this extension cord, but apparently the extension cord wasn't working. So I get the little 10% thing.
Yeah.
So I'm hitting that, and I'm trying to. You go back and watch the video. You'll see me leaning over like this. I'm trying to wiggle the cord, and I plug it into my laptop. And I no longer see any messages, so I'm thinking, okay, it's charging now.
Mm-hmm.
Next, mid-sentence, that mug go black, and I'm like, oh, there we go.
Hey, technology happens. We try to be as professional as possible in everything that we do, but sometimes the unexpected happens. And so we're down to about 7 minutes. I wanted to read that from Sunita, or you can read it. Oh, Theo.
Oh, you want to read that one? Okay, yeah. Go and check.
Yeah, we have one more shout out for Steph. Sunita says, I have been knowing Stephanie since we were about 2 or 3 years old. Like y'all remember that. But anyway, Sunita, she is one of my best friends. Nobody remember if you knew somebody too. But anyway, I'm messing with you, sis. But she is also my sister. She is so gifted and talented, along with beautiful. God has so much in store for her, and I can't wait to see. Love you, your sister, Sunita.
Love you too, sis. And God has amazing things in store for you. Keep singing. Keep singing.
That's awesome. I ain't know Sunita sang. Okay.
I love her voice. Yes.
We're going to have to get her on here.
You can sing now. Okay. Yeah.
All right. We didn't know that. Sunita's been a great supporter.
That's when you was on me right there, huh?
I'm on one tonight. So
and I got to put all the comments up there just because they are hilarious. So my wife says, Theo, we'll be back soon. Because I was like, baby. So she brought down this charger for me real quick. But then you got Vaughn talking about the Duke of Oil internet.
He said you running around in the parking lot right now, the Duke of Oil.
And then Jason hit me with say I got the Dollar General. But no, here's a funny one though right here though. He says, Winter Joy gives Theo a
Hey man, Jason is on one now. He is on one. Oh my God.
What did he say about Winter Joy?
He told we need to raise money so we get Theo a charger. Woo! Hey y'all, this is what this is about. We hope y'all having as much fun with our show as we are. Again, we're down to our last few minutes. We thank you so much, Stephanie, for everything that you have done everything that you have accomplished as a woman of God, as a Black woman, as a litigator, as an attorney, as a wife, as a daughter. I always looked up to the way your family was, and just it was something that I always wanted. And so, we just appreciate you, and we just pray that you continue to just be led by God in your future endeavors. And we do have some more shows coming.
Yes.
And we have some guests. We're still working on our scheduling, but one of our guests has had mad jokes tonight, and Jason Ashley.
He may be off the list now. I don't know.
Don't do it to him. Don't hurt him, Jason.
and we have Alex Brandon, who's doing tremendous things.
Dr. Alex Brandon.
Dr. Alex
Yes.
Brandon.
Yes.
He's doing tremendous things in the educational field, as I mentioned, Jason. And we have some others that we have spoken to. So unfortunately, we still have to iron out some schedules of some of our next guests, but just be on the lookout for our next shows. Please, y'all, share this show, like it, share it with other people. We want to broaden our audience so that we can impact more lives.
Yes.
and continue to give flowers. We're shining our light on people from Michigan City. He said he used to you freezing.
No, that's never happened.
But we're used to listen. We shine the light on people from Michigan City, but we also want to expand. If we can expand beyond our Michigan City beginnings, if you will, and bring in others, we want to broaden our base, because what if this catches on and we have so many people willing to just not be jealous, not be envious, but to just give people love? Wouldn't you like to be in a community, in a world like that? And so Cousin Steve said, I can tell you guys that one of the things that's such a blessing is watching our children grow up in Proverbs 22. That's right. Training them in the way they should go. And you should be very proud of that. And you and Connie did an amazing job with the kids. And so we appreciate y'all input into the legacy of Michigan City for sure, and beyond. And Sunita, I feel like we on the high school bus coming home from a basketball game. And we had some great times. But before we go, so moving forward, be on the lookout for our next shows. Please, again, share this show. Help us get it out there. This is our show. This isn't Theo and Hollis's show. This isn't Theo Hollis and Stephanie's show. This is what we're doing together. So please share this show. We want to catch on. Maybe someday we might even have a sponsor or two. Maybe someday we can
definitely
more live. So we need y'all help to do that. So I think last time we had one of our shows had about 2,000-3,000 views, Steve.
Like over 2,000 views. The one with that was the memorial show.
The memorial when we first came back. So let's make this one have as many views, but we can't do it without y'all. So Thee, you have anything you wanted to end with?
Just it's been a pleasure, it dawned on me that so Stephanie, you may not have been the first African American woman elected to that particular, but you were the first woman guest that we had on We Call Next, and that was by design. We both have a great relationship with you, and we know you were doing big things down in Indy. So we're excited to just continue to follow your progression, knowing that you're impacting the world, and it just warms our heart coming from Michigan City, which Hollis and I often joke around as, one of the greatest small cities in the world. It's because of what it's produced.
Yes.
And you are a product, a fruit of that. So we know you represent the city well. But we want to give you the opportunity to close us off. I know the last time we did this, and David said he wanted to thank us and some things. And so any parting words, what are you feeling now? If someone catches the tail end of this interview and didn't see, what's the parting words that you have for us?
Yes, thank you. First, I want to say thank you to both of you. All of us being from the budding metropolis of Michigan City, Indiana, the budding,
Absolutely.
yes. Our city used to get a bad rap for a long time, but the older I get, the more I appreciate it when I do go back home. One of the things was going back for my brother's memorial, and people that came and supported were like, wow, your city is awesome. This beach is here is great. But just, looking back on the times that we had and the laughs that we just shared, I'm just appreciative of the two of you. I'm so proud of both of you for doing this. And I want to see this. I really want to see this podcast take off. So, to their point, everybody like and share. I'm not used to being on the internets like this, but with these two, I will do it. I don't know that I would have done this for anybody else. So that just shows you how special they are
We
to me
appreciate
and
it.
how much I want to pour back into them. And I'll just repeat, what was said a little bit earlier is that we miss 100% of the shots we don't take. So take the shot. If it's the book, if it's the podcast, if it's the new job, whatever it is, the business, go ahead and do it, and do it anointed. We say do it scared, but I'll say do it anointed. We've been called. And so, this walk is not for the chosen few, but for the few that choose. And so choose today. Go do it.
All right.
So there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
This has been another episode of We Call Next. Stay tuned. When we post, we're going to give you some updates on the next guest. Take care. God bless.
Thank you.
Peace, y'all.
Blessings.